This is a short video to explain the function of your pelvic floor muscles and how to exercise them. First of all, the muscles are situated at the base of your pelvis. So if you look at this model, this is the front of your pelvis, this is the back of your pelvis, and right down at the bottom, that pink area, is the pelvic floor muscles. They're referred to as a floor because they form the base of your pelvis. These muscles are essential for bladder and bowel control and supporting your pelvic organ contents. They are often overlooked because a lot of ladies at this stage in their life don't have any symptoms. But it's essential that you understand these muscles and use them, and if you invest in them, it will protect you from getting other problems through pregnancy and afterwards. It needs to be a habit of a lifetime, so it's essential that you also make it part of a normal daily routine. So we'll first discuss how to use the muscles and how they work. So in your pelvic floor muscles, you've got two types of fibres. You've got what we call stamina fibres that respond to a hold and holding exercises. This part of the muscle is often overlooked by ladies. So I'm going to talk about this because I see it as the most important component of your exercise plan. First of all, the way to exercise these muscles in a holding manner is to use your back passage and your vagina area as a team effort. So in theory, you pucker from your back passage as if you're trying to hold wind in a public area, or you imagine you've got a tampon that's half in and half out that you're trying to glide and take deeper up inside. When you do the exercise, you should feel a tightness followed by a lift, and when you finish an exercise, you should feel like a drop in that area. This sensation is quite towards the back of that area of your muscle, so often ladies refer to it between the vagina and the back passage. That's where they get the sensation, and that's normal. When you do the back passage sensation, ladies often mistake it for using the cheeks of the bottoms, so ensure that your buttocks are still. The other thing is you mustn't move your abdomen from here. There's no movement here when you do a correct technique. If you get a sensation lower in your abdomen, under your bump, that's a good sign that you're on the right lines and finding the right core muscles. Okay, so they're the holding exercises. The other way you use your muscle is to do what we call a nipping activity, which is a sharp, powerful movement that's really got some speed behind it. That comes from the front of the muscle, like you are trying to stop the flow of urine dead on the toilet. So it's slightly different sensation. These exercises need to be performed in a sharp manner, so you would nip, release, and your aim is to be able to do 10 of them. Okay. The other way to do nips is to do them in a spontaneous manner. So using a trigger in daily life that you respond with a nipping exercise. I'll give you some examples. When you get a text message, nip. When your phone rings, you might want to nip. When your dog barks. When you see a red car if you're a passenger in a vehicle. This helps to keep the reaction in your muscle really sharp, and after having a baby, that reaction I can guarantee will be sluggish and something you need to work at. So, we're going to discuss the amount of exercise now and the position. When you perform these exercises, it's easier to do sat down or laid down with your knees bent up with a gap between your legs. And if you do it in sitting, always have a gap between your legs, don't have them together. And you can progress them into standing, but that's probably something you'll work at more postnatally. Another position towards the end of your pregnancy that is nice is to kneel, maybe over your sofa or over a gym ball, and perform the exercise in that position. So going back to the holding technique, when you do a correct exercise with a hold, there should be a starting point and a finishing point, and some good definition at the end of the exercise. If there is no definition or a weaker definition at the end, the exercise is too difficult. I suggest you start doing 10 exercises, holding for just a count of 3 seconds, and perform that set 4 times a day, and build on that hold up to 10 seconds, providing you can feel the release. Some ladies find it useful when they're doing a longer hold to pull on the initial contraction, but to reinforce that feeling in the centre of the exercise to get better definition at the end. I'll give you an example. If the lady was holding to 5 seconds but struggling with a release, that lady would pucker and suction from the vagina and go 1, 2, deeper, 4, 5, let go, and that might improve the definition. With the nips, I've suggested doing some random nips, so that you need to be doing about 10 in a day, and remember that component of your pelvic floor is only 30% of what that muscle does, so you do not need to overemphasise that component, but it needs to be in the background. Finally, some more tips to help you. As you get stronger with these muscles, it's really useful to react when you cough and sneeze and use this strength that you've been working at. This will stop leakage, but it will also support your pelvic tissues and your vaginal tissues. Another time to consider doing it is to pull and engage these muscles before you lift objects around home or work. So it might be lifting your briefcase, it might be lifting the shopping. It's everyday lifting, not heavy lifting. Engage this muscle and protect yourself even more. There's other areas that can actually undo some of this healthy work that you're doing. If you're finding that you're straining on the toilet to open your bowels, make sure you're hydrated and consider your diet and the components that will make it easier to go. And if you still struggle, get advice and professional help to make that process easier. The other thing is, if you found that you've been vomiting regularly early in your pregnancy, you have got a bit of extra work to do because there'll be extra weakness around your bladder neck from having been sick. So take it even just a fraction more seriously. So if you need any further help, I'm more than happy to work with individual ladies, and you can speak to your midwife for getting referred in either antenatally or postnatally. It's more embarrassing to have a problem with your bladder or bowel function or prolapse and not be sharing it with somebody professional who's here to help and make a difference to your life. So please get in touch if you struggle.